Music belongs to Hans Zimmer, Elton John, M. Mobile, and
Nick Lenny Smith, Steve Belfer, Leonard Rosenman.
Hi, I'm Jonny 2B.
And I'm Hopeless Romance.
And we made another fine fan fiction of My Lion King 3 of Simba's Pride, The Next Generation, Chapter 20 of Moving On and Goodbye. Authors note, no doubt this is one of the longest chapters. Again, sorry for the delays. All art belongs to you, Hopeless Romance, and anything not recognizable belongs to me. Please ask permission, but all the recognizable belongs to Walt Disney Animation Studios. Here we go, Chapter 20 of Moving On and Goodbye. Jonny and Nala walked back to the small jet. Nala explained her background story to him. And Sarafina is the way she is.
And so you see, Mr. Tooby, we didn't realize back at my wedding that she had become an alcoholic. But when she formed the habit of missing hunts and disappearing, that's when I realized she had a serious problem.
I see. Fascinating.
And I don't know what to do sometimes, Nala shook her head.
Where I come from, humans have programs to help with this problem. One of them is called Alcoholics Anonymous. This program is a fellowship of various humans that get together and have this problem and discuss their problems with alcohol and try to work out some sort of solution to each individual's problem and stop drinking excessively or permanently, Jonny explained.
Unfortunately, my mom is the only one in the pride with the bad drinking problem, so it would be hard to do that, Nala sighed.
I see. The best thing to do then is continue to talk to her, though I don't know if anything would work since she has talked back to you in the past. I am sorry, Your Highness.
Jonny, please. I believe that you are worthy of calling me by my first name, as you have. I see honesty in your heart, even though you aren't a lion. I still love you, Nala smiled at him as Simba listened from behind a bush.
Why, thank you, Nala. Call me Jonny then, as he loves her too. Jonny smiled and they flirted, and both Jonny and Nala had their flirtatious smiling back and forth. Oi! Simba sighed. Simba felt bothered as Jonny and Nala were kind of flirting. Am I jealous? Simba thought.
All of a sudden, Brett popped out of nowhere singing, "Can you feel the love tonight? The peace the evening brings. The world for once in perfect harmony with bullets."
Shut up! Simba yelled and interrupted Brett, who giggled and ran off. Luckily, Nala didn't hear Simba's yelling because they were both near the airplane. Two approached the front of the small bombardier.
"I'll go in first since you don't know my mom," Nala said.
I agree. And since she is a lioness, no telling what she can do to me, especially if she's drunk.
Nala jumped into the plane silently as Jonny climbed in. They heard banging around. They noticed the chairs had been tipped over and furniture tipped over.
In the back, Jonny mouthed, more rummaging. They crept when they heard.
"Who's there?" "No one here but us drink." Nala rolled her eyes. "Oh, Mom, come out wherever you are," she said in a singing song voice. "No." Nala rolled her eyes again. "Come on, Mom, you know she shouldn't be here." As I finally reached the back of the airplane and found her totally plastered with a Budweiser in her paw.
Hey, does anyone have a charger? We're dying.
"Nolly, baby, you found me. Who's that sexy human?" Jonny shakes his head and smiles. Politely, he put his hands on his hips.
Excuse me, Mrs. Starfire. I believe you had a little too much to drink of my wonderful drinks that you may have gotten into.
"Hey, finders, keepers." As she handed me a beer. Mom, stop it. You had enough. Time to go home. Nolly, baby. You mean it? Breaks the bottle and collapses. Sarafina is now out cold.
Okay, Jonny says.
I've seen her worse, Jonny.
Right then, let's bring her back to Pride Rock and have my doctor take a look at her.
Nala got her mom on her back and carried her back.
Back at Pride Rock, Dr. Jonny and Rafiki were treating the wounded while the stewardess was helped with and the pilot were helping as nurses. Dr. Jonny was giving Rafiki some stints and bandages to help out the other wounded. They were a lot wounded this time, so they needed all the help they could get from the stewardess and the flight and the pilot.
Copa, Reed, Brett, Batani, Spotty, and Alan were all playing poker. They were playing with rubies from the cave since Reed had told them that rubies were of value where he came from.
Call.
I am out, Spotty said. Fold, Batani said.
2 pair, Alan said, smiling. 3 5s, Reed said. Flush, Copa said. Well, flush, Brett smiled as he spread his cards.
No way, Copa said.
That's the 3rd time in a row, Alan said as he was angry at him, and he pushes his back into the pot.
Sorry, guys, you can't stand losing, Brett said as he gathered the pot.
Then Spotty spots a card up his sleeve.
What's that up your sleeve? Spotty asked.
Reed grabs his brother's left arm and holds it up to reveal Ace of Clubs. What's this? Reed sternly asked.
I don't know, Brett said while being scared.
You've been cheating, Vitani cried. You don't know, Reed grabs his brother's ear.
Batani put it there, Brett accused her even though she was across the circle. In that case, this makes all Brett's winnings null and void. Therefore, we keep all the rubies, Copa said. Copa grabbed the rubies back.
The next morning, Dr. Jonny and Rafiki had finished up. Dr. Jonny had given Rafiki extra medicines and instructions on what to do with them. Sarafina was having trouble breathing the next morning. It turned out that the liver was failing due to alcoholic poisoning and was critical conditions.
Dr. Jonny tried to do an emergency operation to help, but lacked the correct equipment. They tried to pump out the poison with chest pumps and cutting in air pockets to where she was having breathing problems, but had no success.
It was too late. Sarafina had passed away on the rock-like operating table.
I'm so sorry. I tried everything, Nicole started to cry.
Jonny comforted her and gave her a hug.
Nala started to cry in the sick birthing cave.
Don't worry, Nala, I'm here, Simba said in his warm words as he embraced his wife.
The Pride and the humans held a 5-hour funeral for Sarafina that afternoon.
Zara spoke how she remembered her coming into the Pride that beautiful day and how she didn't know what she would do as she would change the Pride forever. Simba spoke as well. As king, I usually am very professional, but I'm going to speak as a more personal friend. There was a long pause. Then he spoke. My parents always taught me about the great kings of the past. I can assure you that even though Sarafina had a drinking problem, she is up there with the others, as we know, and such as her best friend as my mother, Sarabi. As well as my father, Mufasa. Sarafina will be missed, but I'm sure she is in a better place, and she will find comfort and say goodbye to her fellow friends. Jonny will now speak. Jonny walked to the top of Pride Rock. I don't know what to say much about Sarafina. I hardly knew her. I only knew her for an hour. But I can obviously tell from being an outsider she was a very important person. Based on the reaction of your faces, I'd like also to announce that we are also leaving tomorrow. I enjoyed my time here, and I thank you for all taking us on your wing. Nala will now speak.
Nala walked to the top of Pride Rock to speak about her mother. You know, I look at this world and I just take things for granted. I always relied on my mom to be there for me, and now she's gone. Nala wept, not being able to bear talking about her mother. Nala felt she had to make a quick exit, but everyone was weeping and everyone could feel the pain she was in. That was when the last anyone spoke. Reed and Steve dug up a hole behind Pride Rock, and Sarafina was buried. Alan made a headstone for Sarafina out of a rock. Here lies Sarafina Starfire, changed the Pride forever, it read.
That evening was somber as Steve and Barry cooked dinner that the lions had caught. Everyone was in their own little place thinking about Sarafina. Reed tried to make conversation with Simba.
You know, Simba, this just feels like the wrong time for us to leave. I feel like we've been letting you down, Reed explained to Simba slowly. He was sitting on the edge of the summit of High Rock.
Yeah, it feels like you'd be leaving on a bad note, Simba replied.
You know that feeling you get when there's something you're supposed to do and you can't do it no matter how hard you try?
I know it all too well, kid, Simba smiled sheepishly.
I just feel like there's something else we need to accomplish here, you know? Reed looked at Simba.
Yeah, but I don't know what it is. I can't help you, Simba sighed.
Hey, I know, Reed stood up excited.
What? Simba got up, curious as to why Reed was so excited. I know this might sound strange to you at first, but we should try to celebrate Sarafina's death, Reed exclaimed. I'm a little confused. Why would I want to celebrate her death? Simba asked.
In Mexico, a place far away from here, people celebrate Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. They say we should celebrate the life of those who have died, Reed explained. So you don't focus on the actual death, just the life they previously lived? Simba asked.
Yes. Reed, I don't know. The lionesses may act strangely to this. Day of the Dead? Especially Nala? Simba started.
Look, Simba, would Sarafina want you or anyone on the pride depressed over her death? No, she wouldn't. She would want you to move on with life, Reed said. Simba pondered over this thought, his paw scratching his chin.
Simba, no longer than a minute ago, you were saying how you knew the feeling something that needed to be accomplished. Well, we've been presented what we need to accomplish, the feeling, Reed explained slowly. Simba interrupted Reed's thought. You're right. We need to do something about this right now.
I'll go tell the humans to meet at Pride Rock for the meeting, Reed said as he ran off. Reed pulled Jonny and his pilot from the cockpit chair, who was plotting a course for home, and all the other depressed humans.
There. Simba wants a meeting at Pride Rock this instant. We must go, Reed pointed to Pride Rock through the window. What does Simba want? Asked Jonny.
You'll find out when you get there, Reed said. Jonny sighed and got up from his seat and followed the caravan behind Reed. Simba thought this was going to be a very hard task to do. How could he tell Nala there was a meeting to attend when she was mourning her mother? However, Nala surprised him and said she would be able to meet. Why did she do this? Simba put on a guess.
Everyone had arrived at Pride Rock, ready for Simba's meeting. Low whispers were heard throughout the crowd as Simba stepped into the peak of Pride Rock. Everyone, I have a feeling that we have not had the proper goodbye for our fellow humans who will be leaving us tomorrow. I feel we need to have the going away party for these humans and celebrate not only the time here, but to celebrate Sarafina's life here.
A disturbance rose from the crowd as a great beam of light hit the Pride Rock, and smoke appeared next to Simba. Smoke took form into a lion, Sarafina. Everyone gasped at the sight. It's okay, everyone. There's being in heaven, so it should be just fine, Sarafina tried to joke, but no one laughed. Nala crept toward the image of Sarafina. Mom, is it really you? Nala asked with eyes wide. Of course it is, silly. Who else do you think it is? Corrected Nala. So Sarafina, what should we do? Simba asked. Well, I appreciate all you mourning for me, but it's downright depressing. You all should celebrate. Enjoy your last day with Jonny and his gang. Are you going to stay here for a while? Nala asked.
No, my dear, I must return to Mufasa in the heavens. Remember, I will always be with you to the end of the time itself. Sarafina started rising toward the heavens, but turned around. Oh yeah, in heaven you can drink all the beer you want with no side effects. It's awesome! Sarah exclaimed, and everyone laughed like hyenas. I'm glad she's happy in a happy place, Nala said to Simba. Me too, Simba replied. All of a sudden, Brett jumped out of nowhere and said, well, what are we waiting for? Let's get out and party! Let's get this party started! Everyone cheered as Alan and Steve and Barry took over guitars from nowhere and started playing Twist and Shout by the Beatles. Everyone sang along and danced as Simba roared, calling the meerkats together at Pride Rock. When they arrived, they put on aprons and served beer, and the whole entire crowd except Brett was served alcohol.
Are you feeling okay? Jonny looked at me too. He's rather quiet.
I'm fine. It's just I just had too much to drink. Well, it looks like someone's gonna carry out the tradition. Both Jonny and me too laughed.
Right as Jonny said that, Alan started playing Carry On My Way with Sunback.
Reed, Brett, Copa, and me too sat to the table together talking business.
Look, fellas, me and Brett think all of you guys should be in a movie or something, you know? Yeah. I like that a lot, but I don't know why you rejected this movie or something.
I think it's because they were lazy, Brett said.
Wow, Brett actually said something smart.
But seriously, I'm thinking about taking you to Yezend about it, Reed smiled.
We should sue Yenzid. I think we should sign a petition, Copa said.
Great idea, let's do it, everyone at the rock-like table exclaimed.
Good luck with that, Kovu laughed as he passed by and headed towards Kiara.
The lions and the meerkats and humans partied on it the next morning.
The next morning,
The humans were packing up and getting ready to leave for good this time. They're almost ready to leave. Everyone said their respective goodbyes. Jonny gave Nala a hug. Your mother will always be with you, Jonny whispered in her ear. Take care now, Simba said warmly as he shook Jonny's hand, and as paw as well.
You're always welcome to come back, Kiara said.
Thank you, Miss Kiara, said Steve.
We'll miss you, said Reed.
As will we, Copa said. Don't grow up too fast here, Alan joked as he waved his gun in front of the lions, scaring them. Very, that's crazy. Also was stealing some rubies as he found.
I won't, the cub said. Can we go home now? Britt demanded.
Hey, we're saying our goodbyes, knucklehead. Can it? Reed pulled out a frying pan out of nowhere and waved it to Britain as he smiles with his stooge antics. Reed turns to Kovu and Kiara and he says his goodbyes. Thank you for helping us, Tojo said sternly. You're perfectly welcome, General Tojo, Jonny said as he shook his paw. Sir, all the final materials have been stowed into the airplane properly. And the stewardess says we're all ready. We're all ready for takeoff, sir, the pilot said. Alright, everyone, we're all ready to depart, Jonny tells the humans. Everyone got on board.
I believe that we did our duty, Reed said as he buckled up.
I agree, Steve said. My friends, we did good, Jonny said. Put her full, he instructed the pilot. The bombardier turned around and took off into the sunset while the Pride stood outside and waved goodbye. Simba started coughing after that. And that, my friends, is the end of Chapter 21. Moving on, and goodbye. I'm Johnny 2B.
I'm hopeless romance.
And that is the end of this chapter. Thank you, and have a good night.